to go over our expenses for the last 6 months since we've been traveling.
Yeah, I mean she's done this video this thing for like 2 weeks now, and she's like, I can't wait to tell you.
It's not 2 weeks.
It's ridiculous.
We're gonna start over because that's not very nice, is it?
I'm Desiree.
And I'm Steve.
From diapers
To departures.
our kids are grown.
And now it's our turn. Come explore the world with us.
Are you ready to go over our last 6 months of expenses since we started traveling?
Not really. We're way over budget. I know we are.
Well, do you remember what our goal was?
Yeah, $4,000 a month.
We're trying to spend $4,000 a month. Okay. In July, we were in Costa Rica and Panama. So guess how much that cost us for the month?
I would say we were a little over in Costa Rica, a little under in Panama, so probably broke about even at $4,000.
The total was $5,482.75.
Costa Rica was rough.
Yeah. The rent was a little higher than some of the other places, and the transportation a little bit, but I would say across the board, food was the most. All right, let's go into August. August, we were in Colombia.
I think we broke even in Colombia.
Well, we were $4,594.70. That was the closest.
I figured that. Colombia was the cheapest country.
Yeah, and it was really good food.
Really good food, really good environment, good amenities, good infrastructure. It was really good and fairly inexpensive. Yeah, we probably went over with food because we were eating out all the time because everything we ate was really good.
Yes, yes. September, Ecuador and Peru. Yes.
Well, that's way high because we went to Galapagos, which was ungodly expensive, and Peru we were doing a lot of stuff. You know, we went to Rainbow Mountain, we took an ATV tour, we went took an overnight bus to Lake Titicaca. We were all over Peru because Peru is just majestic everywhere. So we were spending a lot of money doing that. Probably not as bad as like what's to come in Argentina, but we did a lot in Peru, and Galapagos is expensive.
Yeah, the tours in Galapagos and everything. So the total came out to $8,605.13.
It's double.
Yeah. So we spent, I would say, like the first 2 weeks in the Galapagos, and then we spent the last 2 weeks in Peru. So it follows over to October because we spent a month in total in Peru, so that followed into October. So October we were in Peru and in Chile, and most of the time in Chile we were at Easter Island.
Easter Island, it was expensive to get to, and it was expensive to be there. But I think we got some of our tickets based off our credit card points to go to
Chile.
Easter Island.
To Chile. Our lodging and stuff wasn't there, some.
There was an overnight. The one that we went
Right,
from
right.
Santiago to Mendoza. That was credit card points. Yeah.
All right. Well, in Peru and Chile, what do you think?
Probably about 7.
Well, a little under $6,378.85.
Wow. So Galapagos and Peru were more expensive than Easter Island. That's insane.
Oh yeah, the Galapagos. I mean, just to get in, I think it's
$200
$200
a person. Yeah.
And then you have to get a tour to see most of the interesting sites. So, all right, November we spent in Argentina.
That's probably 7, 8.
November was actually $5,420.91. In Argentina, that month we were mostly in Mendoza.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then a little bit in Bariloche.
Yeah, so it wasn't quite as. But
Right.
then the upcoming one.
Right. So
That
it also
one's-
went into December, Argentina.
Yeah, December is going to be probably 7, 8.
In December we were in Argentina and Uruguay, and you think 7 or 8?
75.
All right. Well, in December we spent $9,267.52.
That's partially Bariloche,
Yeah.
then El Calafate, El
Chatan.
Chatan, Ushuaia, and then getting back to Buenos Aires, and Buenos Aires,
And
everything,
Iguazu Falls.
and Iguazu Falls. Yeah, that was really expensive. I knew that one was gonna.
I didn't know it was gonna hurt that.
That
bad.
one hurt
I'm
us.
not gonna lie. So that one was no good. But grand total for 6 months in 2025, getting to slow travel 8 countries, actually 9 because we're now in Brazil, but okay, 8 countries, cost $39,749.86. So almost 40,000
for 8 months.
for 6 months. So
For
half a
6
year.
months.
So
Okay,
if
well,
you make 80,000 a year,
But
so
yeah, that's not so
let's
bad.
look at the rent. We spent the most in rent in September, and that was because of
The Galapagos was expensive.
yeah, that lodging at in Santa Cruz wasn't that bad, and then we went to San Cristobal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that was pretty expensive. And then the transportation was the most expensive in December in Argentina.
Yeah, when you get to Ushuaia, like no joke, going from Chile to Mendoza was really inexpensive, but Mendoza to Bariloche was what we thought was kind of expensive, and then going from there down to Calafate, that was pretty pricey too, and the rental cars that we needed for Argentina were expensive in comparison to what we're used to. Especially the first day when we first got into Mendoza.
Yeah, remember, because
Okay,
we didn't
yeah.
book it in advance. You gotta book your
The rental cars in advance. Yeah, it was ungodly
And
expensive.
we were going out into the wine country, so
Mhm.
we really did need a car. Otherwise, we were going to be at the mercy of Uber prices, taxi prices, and not being able to see that
Yeah.
much in the area. So we ended up paying,
Well,
and
pretty
because we
funny.
ended up getting a rental car a little bit later,
Yeah.
and that one wasn't so bad.
Yeah, that was booked early, but it wasn't that inexpensive either. So I mean, yeah, transport was a pain in Argentina. Argentina, I just thought was the most
Yeah.
expensive.
We also had a ferry to get to Montevideo, which was $285.37
Yeah.
for the both of us from Buenos Aires. So we had to get the Brazilian visa, which was $161 for both of
Yeah, it
us.
was 84 piece.
And then we had the flights, $297. We had a flight, and that was to and from Iguazu. And then we had the flight to Buenos Aires, $401. The rental car was $105. Another rental car in Ushuaia was $246. And the flights from Ushuaia and El Calafate were $247. So we had just a lot of flights that month too. You know, flight to El Calafate from San Carlos. That was $355. And then a bunch of Ubers when we didn't have a rental car. So and it adds up quick.
I can tell you that in Argentina, Argentina and Uruguay, the food was really expensive. Like every time we went to do anything, even something small was expensive. It was actually a little more than American prices sometimes. It was expensive. Like in Ushuaia, I mean, you go to Ushuaia, it's the end of the world. It's right next to, Antarctica. You're going to get some, southern Antarctic king crab. You're going to, because it's like the thing there, and that was expensive. Even though we went to one of the cheaper places, it was still expensive.
It was.
Everything
it
was
really wasn't
expensive.
a lot of food for the price too. I think that was
No.
like $100. So it was $50 a plate to share one.
Yeah, one crab. That was
Yeah.
insane. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It was
And
like,
it didn't really have good sides. They were
No.
a little cheap with the side. It was like 2 sides. It was just a bowl of lettuce, and then like it looked like a half a bowl of rice.
yeah, and then you couldn't get the melted butter or anything like that. So I mean, the food wasn't surprisingly not very good in Argentina, and in my opinion, and it was really expensive. And then a lot of our places, because we went fast in Argentina, it wasn't like if you look at Peru, the food prices is probably a little less because we did go to some markets here and there, and we were able to eat out quite a bit, but it was less expensive when we got the check. In Argentina, it was just really expensive, but then we were also only in certain spots for a very short time. The only place where we spent a lot of time was in Bariloche, and we did cook there. But
So these food costs are actually combined of eating out and groceries, because even some of the groceries were kind of expensive, like hitting them up every other day at like $30-50 added up too, but we weren't always going to like grocery stores because they would be kind of far. We were going to like mini marts or little convenience stores, and those are always a little bit pricier than your grocery store. I don't know, December we spent the most in food, and that was Argentina and Uruguay. We were only in Uruguay for 2 weeks, and we were in Argentina for 2 weeks. But that was Buenos Aires and Montevideo, and both of them were very expensive cities. They were the most. Entertainment, let's see, where did we spend the most? Well, Ecuador and Peru. That makes sense.
Because we did a lot of tours in, we did Galapagos, we did Machu Picchu, we did Lake Titicaca, we did Rainbow Mountain and snorkeling, and we ended up having to buy a wetsuit. And there was a lot of stuff. But I mean, honestly, when you go to those places, obviously Galapagos and specifically Peru,
and then
that is you have to go see these things.
Yeah, and then in Peru and Chile again were the second most expensive place in terms of entertainment, and
you have to go see these things. And like Chile, so that's gonna be all Easter Island, and you have to have a guide to actually go up to the places that you want to see. And then we ended up renting a vehicle afterwards because there's stuff that you want to go reevaluate. But to actually go up to the Moai, you must have a guide, and they have to take you.
So in December, the reason entertainment is a little high there was because we got to do the penguin tour in Ushuaia. So I forgot, in December it was a little bit of Ushuaia, mostly Buenos Aires, mostly Montevideo. So
I mean, let's be real. If you have the opportunity to go actually walk around amongst a colony of penguins, between South America and Antarctica on a little island, you take that. It was cool.
And to do that, also in Argentina, a lot of the parks are beautiful, but like some of them cost $65 for us to go. We went to a couple of the park at Iguazu was $20 just to get into.
But I mean, that's the longest waterfall in the world, and it's honestly the prettiest waterfall I've ever seen.
It's the widest.
Yeah, when I say longest, I mean expanse. Not height.
It's like 200 and something.
It's almost 3 miles long.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, and I don't regret any of the money that we spent.
No. But it was way above our budget. We didn't hit our budget once.
Nope.
In the entire time we were
August, we were the closest in Colombia.
Yeah.
But Colombia was also very chill, right? Like we didn't have any huge excursions. We went on some day trips.
Some day trips, and we rented a car.
And we enjoyed the city, Medellin specifically. And then I don't know, that wasn't bad. But we weren't going to like national parks. We weren't going to see World UNESCO sites. It was more relaxed and chill. So it was got more expensive in December because you have to pay our life insurance. Other was just like shopping, whether it was health and beauty stuff or souvenirs. So that's at the end I combined those together. And the internet, it's interesting how the internet can cover anything that we have to pay, like Adobe, but it's also our phone mostly. So I think we had the most cost in October. On average, estimated monthly total came out to $6,625 if you estimate it. And the monthly rent estimated was $1,451. And estimated monthly transportation is $1,708. So,
yeah, I knew December was going to be rough just based off of when we paid our cards. It's like, oof.
I think that was probably more than we've ever paid in December, and that's saying something. You had 3 kids and you do Christmas.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but it just
no. I mean, let's be real. At one point we had 3 kids, and we traveled a lot. We've been traveling the world for years.
But never this long at a place.
Never this long, but if you break it into the month, I mean, that's really expensive. December was more than living in Japan and going to see Taiwan and Thailand.
Well, those places are cheaper regardless.
But
at
living
least
in
if
Japan
you
is
live
not.
in that area. Right, but in Japan, I think our rent was, $1,600?
Yeah.
So it was just $200 more. We paid for our cars.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any like real monthly transportation besides gas, which was reasonable. So that kind of evens out with the, and we cooked home.
Yeah.
We bought groceries and we made meals at home. I was spending about $300, sometimes $500 every 2 weeks for groceries. So we've always had big food.
So realistically speaking, we went way over September and December, and the rest of it was not so bad. It's actually better than I thought it was.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Our goal was 4,000, so we went over every month. I mean, we were really trying to see. We see all these budget travelers, and they do it, and they make it look really easy. And we were, trying to do it, but at the same time, this was what we call our freedom tour.
Yeah, and we obviously, if you look at the places that we stayed, we weren't staying. A lot of these people that do like the super cheap, they're staying in really inexpensive accommodations to include hostels, and we were definitely not doing
Or
that.
they're not eating out very much, or they're being either eating very cheap.
Yeah, we
food,
didn't do
street
that. We
food or
ate
whatnot.
we ate at nice restaurants, and we stayed in fairly nice places, the whole time. So
Yeah. So it's gonna add up, and we wanted to do those tours and stuff because how are you gonna go to Peru and not see Machu Picchu or Rainbow Mountain or Lake Titicaca?
yeah,
It just seems like a waste of the opportunity, you know. And same thing for Easter Island. I mean, Easter Island and the Galapagos, those were very expensive places to get to as well as to do things there. But they're memories for a lifetime. So at the end of the day, every dollar spent was a memory.
It's a memory that you can't.
No, if I had to say anywhere I wish we had cut back, it's food. I think food it's a little astronomical, especially the last 4 months. It's way more than we've ever spent on food, even when we were a family of 5 for a month. So moving forward, we're gonna have to figure that out a little bit better. Less eating out, more eating at home, or finding cheaper food options.
Eating out in these places, though, if you look at where it was, like if you look at Ecuador, Peru, you're talking about Galapagos there. I mean, Galapagos was ungodly expensive in terms of food. Every time we went someplace, we were like, "My God, that's expensive." And then Chile, Easter Island isn't that cheap for food, and the food honestly wasn't. You're pretty limited there, and it wasn't that good, but it was expensive. Argentina, expensive every time we went someplace.
We don't really have too many excuses. Like I said, there were cheaper places. We didn't have to go and get restaurant food every time. There was cheaper food that's not as healthy or not as good for you, but there were options, and a lot of the times we did have a kitchen. So it wasn't the best kitchen, and that's really hard for me to cook in a place that doesn't have spices or good pots and pans, or sometimes something as simple as a can opener. We went and got groceries a few times, and cooking in some of those places was hard and not fun, but it would have saved us hundreds of dollars if we'd done it more. I mean, we would have been stuck eating very similar food over and over and over because, again, you don't want to have to stock up on a whole year's worth of spices in one of these places just to make a variety of food. So it was a lot of pasta and steak.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and you also don't want to buy those spices and then leave them there. And we did have your baseline spices that we brought with us, but that adds weight to your bags.
Now I would say if somebody wanted to do a similar trip, maybe not have all of the places on the itinerary, I think you could pick a couple of these places and stay for longer. Like Colombia and Peru, honestly, the rent in Peru wasn't as expensive, but because Ecuador's on there, it's a little more expensive.
Yeah.
So if you were to stay in Colombia and Peru for longer, even Costa Rica, we found a really nice place for, and maybe 2-3 months, and then get those groceries you need, kind of stock up and cook at home more. And I think that you would be able to stretch your dollar a lot further. But if you're leaving anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks, it does get a little hard to do that. And we live and learn.
Yeah.
We wanted to see if we could do it. Maybe this wasn't the right trip to try to do it with.
Yeah.
We could definitely do it in Southeast Asia.
Oh, Southeast Asia is going to be a breeze. I mean, you just got to get there. You know, once you get to Southeast Asia, you can live inexpensively and live well. And yeah, we
So
will.
you'll have to follow along and see how we do. If we can keep our budget in check.
We'll see.
Thank you.